Good morning, everybody. It's my honor to join you for this very important symposium, something that's been in the works for a long time, and something that means a lot to all of us in this community, those of us who know the Quindaro story very well, and those of us who I think are learning and appreciating more about it every single day. The work you're doing here over the next couple of days is certainly to study the heritage and history of Quindaro and how critical it was to so many chapters of the civil rights movement, the development of Kansas. In fact, it's part of the very fabric of the state of Kansas. I don't think you have the story of Kansas without the story of Quindaro. And so it's not only about that story, about our city, about our state, but it's a story about America. It's a story about our nation. It's a story about the struggle and the horrible state of slavery. It's a story about the Underground Railroad and the safe passage of escaped slaves moving north, and how this community, this area, was a critical part of that history and did so many wonderful, proud things to help break the chains of slavery, to help people out in a way that that story hasn't been told. And so that story, that heritage, is something of a bit of pride, I think, for each and every one of us. It should be a bigger bit of pride for Kansas City and for our state. But it should be a national story. And so I'm here, one, to thank you all for spending time in your busy lives to come here and study and to discuss and to record and to analyze the history of this part of our country, but to record and prepare it in a way that we can utilize it to educate the next generation. Many school children, many citizens in our community don't really know much about Quindaro. They don't really know much about the story. You know, and absent the horrible desecration of the John Brown statue just weeks ago, many may not even have heard of the site. And so this is a moment, I think, of long time coming, but of critical importance. And I'm excited that what you're doing to study and promote and develop and to expand upon that history, but I'm really most excited about what the future could bring. One of the things I'm here today to announce is legislation that I'll be introducing next week to designate the Quindaro town site as a National Historic Landmark. Now, Quindaro is currently listed in the National Historic Register of Historic Places, but its status as a National Historic Landmark would make it unique in our country and in our state. We don't have that many in Kansas. I think just over 25 or so, 28. One of them, by the way, is the Nicodemus site. I don't know how many folks have been out there, but as we were discussing earlier, that's not something you sort of just stop by when you're in the neighborhood. You have to be intentional to get out there. Which really tells the story about how hard it was on the Americans that were driven out there under false pretenses, and how the story of that site is part of the history of Kansas as well. And so in many ways, these stories are interconnected, but I believe very passionately that the Quindaro town site must be on the National Historic list of landmarks. This rare designation will help Quindaro's profile and expand opportunities for funding to preserve and study the site, and landmark status will help ensure that we can learn from and protect Quindaro for generations to come. Now, I know many of you have been working on this for more years than you can count. Some people have spent their lives, they grew up in this community, they know the Quindaro story, they know its ups and downs. I was told the other day at one point it was slated to be a landfill. And so there are some real chapters to this story that are part of it, and I think it's wonderful, maybe a miracle that still today that this site is available, hasn't been changed in a way that we can't still preserve it and build upon it. I think you all can have great visions for what we could someday have there, an attraction for people to come, to study, to learn. Really the sky's the limit as to what we can do at this site. That takes resources, of course. It takes public awareness. It takes public dollars. It takes donated dollars. All that comes together. But I think those things happen because of the work you're doing here today. So I'm just here to thank you, to encourage you, to let you know that you have a partner and a voice in Washington that I want to tell my colleagues about the story of Quindaro. I want to make sure that it is part of the chapter of American history in a prominent way, and that when Americans want to go study the history of slavery, when they want to study the history of civil rights, that this is a chapter, this is a spot along the way that they must come to in order to know the complete picture. So I think we're very, very fortunate to have this site and be able to continue to preserve it. I look forward to building upon that. Thank you for the work you're doing here this weekend, or this week, and I look forward to your results and to learning more about it. And so Jim and everyone at Freedom Frontiers and everyone who has put time into this, I'm just so thankful for your work and look forward to continue to build on it. So thank you so much, Governor.
Thank you, Congressman.